All right, it's about that time. We're going to get started here with Pro NoCoders Office Hours, episode number 152. I am your host, Tonya. I'm here with members Ben and Thomas, and Brittany should be here shortly. And then my Kim is here as well. So before we get started, if this is your first time tuning into Office Hours, I want to tell you a little bit about it. We do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we invite our members to come onto our Zoom channel, and we broadcast that live in a bunch of different places. And essentially, our members can ask us any bubble question they want, and we will do our best to answer it. They can ask us to help them debug things or to build new features, whatever they want, as long as it's related to Bubble, and we will attempt to answer it. Now, we can't promise answers because nobody has all of the answers, but we do promise that they won't suffer alone with their Bubble issues. Hey, welcome, Callum. Callum, I saw you join.
Evening.
Yes. So if you would like to join us in our office hours sessions, you can do that by going to pronocoders.com and signing up. It's $99 per month to join our office hours level. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the perks that come with that membership. We are going to be launching very soon two very exciting things at the same time. Our Chrome extension, which is going to boost your abilities in your Bubble app, and also will contain access to our Vault, which is going to have a growing library of video tutorials that we're keeping short on purpose to help you get through the material and to find what you're looking for. And we're going to make it highly searchable as well. And then it also comes with access to every single office hour. You can join us and come in with your questions. And then you also get private access to our Slack channel at the office hours level. And what else? Oh yeah, you get a discount on one-on-one coaching. If you need any help getting something working in your app, you can pay us just $2 per minute instead of $3 if once you're a member of Pro NoCoders office hours. And our minimum for that is 15 minutes. So for $30, you can get help answering your toughest Bubble questions. So I don't know if that's it or not, but we do have a lot of different offers a lot of different things included in our membership, and we'd love to have you. So go to pronocoders.com and sign up as soon as possible so you can come and join us, and we'd love to meet you. Welcome, Jay. I saw you popped on. Oh, her audio is not connected quite yet.
Awesome. You didn't tell them all about the £1 million giveaway.
We're not giving away £1 million. Maybe someday, but not today. So yes. Okay. So let's get started. I think, Ben, you said you could come up with a couple questions.
Yeah, sure thing. By the way, have you had a play with the new Airtable interfaces yet?
I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I have.
Do you want to show us? I'm super excited to see it.
Yeah.
We are Pro NoCoders. I know we focus on both, but it's no code, right? And I think I've always had a little bit of an issue with Airtable being listed as like one of the biggest no code platforms out there, because I didn't really think that it fit into the same category of no code as like Bubble. But this kind of changes things a little bit.
Yeah, but it's no code databases, I guess. It's still no code.
Yeah, it's no code, but it's more like, I don't know. I always thought of it as being like a no code, upgrade from Google Sheets is how I would put it.
Yeah,
although Google Sheets has its own advantages. I worked in Airtable like for several years before I found Bubble. So
yeah, I mean, this is it. I'm just developing one out now, but so you can basically just add widgets to an interface. And so this is like a task manager that I've got for a project that I'm building, and then you can add all your views to one big section here, update anything if you've got someone logging in. But there's a whole bunch of like really cool stuff that you can do on it. And then this is, add, a notes widget if you want, so you can add notes on a record. or there's a bunch of different filter elements, and so this feels more no code to me than it did before, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just adding different elements and then being able to use them and yeah, make them editable and kind of do whatever you want. But you can do charts and graphs and pull info from different tables, and like you can bring in, well, something you haven't been able to do before is bring in data from multiple tables. So now you can actually bring everything in together. But that's it.
That's very, very cool. Yeah, no, that's certainly going to change. I think that's going to change no code for the better in general. I think that this upgrade that that Airtable release to being able to do interfaces is going to fuel no code. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
It'll be
about
interesting now with I think we were talking in the chat about things like Softer and Stacker that have kind of spent all this money and got all this influx of cash for their interface system using Airtable, that now Airtable's doing it themselves.
Yep, definitely. Very cool. So what would you, I mean, you love Airtable and you love Bubble. So with this change with Airtable, how does it affect your bubbling? Or too early to predict?
It probably will make strategy a lot easier, I think, and setting up, if you've got a team of people working on things, it'll be a lot easier using this than things like Todoist and ClickUp now. And I still wouldn't use the API or Airtable as your data. I think Bubble's database is way better than, it just makes everything so quick at keeping it internal, especially if you've got a smaller database than pulling it from Airtable. But it'll be more around strategy and setup, and with the apps, you can now build your scopes in Airtable and then automatically print them, and people could have access to them and, collaborate real time on them. Just a bunch of stuff like that is now possible.
The one thing I would say about Airtable, the biggest advantage that they have going into this now, what I would actually call no code solution, is that they have, you can have fields that are formulas.
Yeah.
Which you can't in Bubble, which is a huge limitation in Bubble, if you ask me. So.
Yeah, big week with, the new Bubble release, and then this on Airtable, and Microsoft released a Notion competitor this week, and Apple just released something new this morning, which I haven't watched yet, but yeah, it's just been a big week.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. Did you have any questions?
I just got up, so can I circle back around?
Sure, right? Of course, no problem. Jay, welcome.
Hi, how have you been?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We missed you.
I know. I couldn't believe I missed 2 in a row. That was like record setting.
I know. I was like, what? That's crazy.
You thought I was hit by a truck, didn't you?
I thought something was going on. So I thought maybe you got caught up in meeting with Micah on Monday. So
that's not what we thought, was it, Tonya? We knew what we thought had happened. Do you not remember? We thought that Jay's garden brain had gone crazy. And
that's true.
Like $10
yes,
million.
We did. We did surmise that might have been that you just got absorbed into like selling garden brain to the highest bidder.
Oh,
so.
Wouldn't that be nice? But no, that isn't at all what was happening. Although a friend of mine posted on a Craigslist group he belongs to. I was like, Craigslist? People still use it? I didn't even know. Yes. And I got 3 users from that. I was like, what?
Cool.
I know it's, minuscule, but still I was just surprised. Yeah, I'm working on Garden Brain, and I'm also working on Goldfish. I'm doing a lot of API stuff with Goldfish, and I actually probably have a question about that. But I do have questions today. The first one is this. Oh my gosh, which screen is it? I hope it's that one. Are you guys looking at a blue screen?
Yes.
So this is fuzzy search, and when you type in stuff, it doesn't load the way it should. So you can see that there's images missing, and if you clicked on them, they haven't loaded. Well, there's that image, but it's not where it should be. So before I spend a ton of time looking into alternate searches, and I looked into the bubble, search box, but that doesn't give you images. Unless there's a way to do that, I don't know. So I'm wondering, before I spend time trying something else, then is there a way to solve this problem?
Okay, to start over with the problem. The problem is you're searching there and
you don't get all the pictures. This is actually performing pretty well today, but I watched someone use it yesterday and they were getting mostly little white squares.
I see.
So it's just not, there's pictures of all of these things, but you're only seeing 3.
Got it. Yeah, I'd reach out to Bubble. And ask them what's up and what they think might be happening. Because obviously, if you're getting the pictures sometimes and not others, then that's telling me that there might be something going on that page. And it's not you, it's them.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend a lot of time debugging something that works sometimes and not others if you're pretty sure, we know that it's pulling the images from some of them, and we know the images exist in the database, and I would just double check that. But I'd make a Loom video and send it into Bubble and ask them if they can figure it out.
I was thinking that it was the fuzzy search limitation, but perhaps not.
No, because the fuzzy search is just searching for records that meet a percentage of the criteria that you're setting in it, right? But the list itself, the repeating group, shouldn't be affected. So what's actually showing up in the repeating group should be from those records.
Okay. And then the next question is, unless someone else is ready to go, I have another question.
Let's just
know what. Did you say that sometimes they're showing up and sometimes they're not?
I don't know if it's the same ones that are not showing up all the time.
I was just wondering, it might be worth checking the database and see, because sometimes I've come across it where it's weird, the extension. So .jpeg and .png work, but then .gif doesn't work. So it might be worth just checking if the ones that aren't working have anything in common, like the extension or the name.
Yeah, that is true, and I will check it. Thank you. I actually was doing that before 1 o'clock, and then I got distracted. And then on a related note, I have the image link for every image, and I had to go through and manually add the images. And I would like to create a loop, and I'm trying to do the same thing now. I don't know if I need to do this, but I'd like to know how this works. So I want to make a change to my database. Let's say, for instance, I've got this this vendor, the plant's name.
Oh, sorry, Jay. Sorry to interrupt. I think you're moving into a different question. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We have some people who came in.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
No, it's okay. That's all right. I just want to check and see. So Callum, did you have any questions for Jay?
Nope, I'm all good.
Okay, and we have someone new here, Richard. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you too. I'm just new to this no coding platform, and I'm here to learn a lot, and also to see what I can do with the no coding platform.
Perfect. Did you have any questions for us today?
Being today my first time, I don't have any questions, but I believe I'm going to be asking questions as we go along.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Yeah, if you need any clarification or want to see something, just speak up.
Sure, I will do that. Thank you.
Awesome. Yep. Nathan, I think we were going to try to debug that thing we were working on last night. I don't know if
yes.
Nathan...
Hello.
Yes. Okay. Hi.
So I didn't fix it. So if I can just share my screen real quick and we'll take a look at it.
Of course.
Can you see that?
Yep, I can.
Okay, so what we're trying to do, we're putting in a repeating group here, which blends information from several data types.
Mhm.
And then this button uses the repeating group to CSV plugin to, in theory, download all of this information. So
Okay.
I'll refresh this. So my question is, and this actually shows it right here. So there's 921 records. It takes forever. So I know we're going to look at other fixes, but for right now, it takes forever to pull this information. But I'm not sure what how this is a clue, but the things that are missing right now, it hasn't pulled. There's a number there. There's a field here, and then a field here, and then the rest of this information loads quick, and then those three take forever. Then when I go to download the information, for whatever reason, it's this field, and this field are the only three fields that are actually getting downloaded. The ones you can see here don't come through. So
Oh, that's bizarre.
yeah, only 3 of the 7 are showing up, but it's also the 3 that take forever to download. So I don't know if it's a timing issue.
So like, are we still waiting for those to load?
I'll update because I made a change. So and we may need to come back to it. I can let's see. No, yeah. So I was making a change. I was trying to cut the I was actually trying to cut the group down a little bit to speed up the process. So let me try again. So it's pulling 921 records, which I know, as we talked about last night, was too much. But even if it was a smaller amount, I was just trying to figure out what was I doing wrong, or what was not working, because I'd like to be able to use this in the future, even though if we try to move over to the Google Sheets. But this is now just part of the delayed process. So it'll fill in those first 4 fields, and then it'll take a while to get the last 3. So we could potentially move on, and I'll maybe give you a good data set when we come back. But my next step is I'll download this information, and it'll just have 3 of the 7 fields for some reason, and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong.
Okay, well, go back to the editor. Let's just double check the things that we know. So click into the first field, like the first column, and then scroll down to the bottom. So that's right. And then we'll just check the IDs.
So this one gets downloaded.
I wonder if it's the dashes.
This one actually gets downloaded though.
And it has a dash.
It has a dash. I was also like this one, I'm combining little things like this. This is just, there's one field. This one I'm actually pulling the sales camper's first name and then the sales camper's last name. So it's actually 2 fields that I'm combining into one, but that's not the case here. This is back to just one thing. So, and this doesn't get downloaded. This one does. So now I'm trying to think of, is there anything different about this? Because this is a date. Nope, that's text. So there's no commonalities there. That has the ID. That has the ID.
And then you've double checked that the IDs don't have any spaces in them.
Yeah, just looking at all of them right there again. And the 3 that do come across, they in the plugin, I have it checked where the ID attribute is the column header, and those 3 things work. So it's pulling those 3 okay. For some reason, it's just not pulling the others. Okay. So you can see it's still.
And then let me try. Okay, so let me try something on my end. I'm going to take over the screen share. Sure. So we're going to go, what did we call it yesterday? CSV? I think it was this one. Yeah, that page. Although we're not using this anymore. We're using the repeating group to CSV. All right, so I have 3 and we know that 3 was working. So let's just add. You have 7?
I have 7.
Okay. So let's just make this. Something dynamic. Cells dummy. Long description. First, last. So here we get. Last, current date, time. Let's do something different here. Okay, so they all have different. Okay. So let's preview this. Okay, so that looks like that was working. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, so all 7 came over when I added it to mine. So then and it looks like it took the order that they were on the page, even though the order here is different. So I just want, if you can share your screen again, I just want to look and see what your element tree looks like. If you can,
Oh, yeah.
uncheck there and then and repeating group. Yeah, that all looks the same. I would try removing the dashes just in case.
Okay.
But outside of that, I can't tell that you've done anything different than we did.
Okay. Well, I'll play with that.
And then I am meeting with Joel today, so he agreed to show me like how to do the Google integration. So
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay.
yeah, so for anybody who is tuning in, what we're talking about is last night Nathan came on office hours and he asked us to help him be able to export reports basically of sales. And we decided to use the repeating group to CSV plugin. I think it's by ZeroCode.
AirDev.
It's by AirDev. I should know that. Yeah, so an AirDev plugin, and it's working really nicely on a very short list, but it's not playing so nicely on a very long list of items. And then we're having some trouble with the columns. So
Can you help me? So can you help me? How do I how do I remove how do I bring this list down to just like 100 records? Is there an easy way to do that? Let me just test it on not 921 records.
Were they all created on the same day?
No.
So maybe like find a date that after which is a cut down number, like about 100 records. So go back, if you show in your database the sales that have happened at like the created date, and go back 100 records and find that created date and just search, do the constraint where the created date is after that date. Is greater than or equal to. And then you would hard code it in there. So you can use arbitrary date. And then you don't, yeah, you just type in whatever it should recognize it. So it won't, the created date won't be in 2022. Did you mean 2021?
Oh, 2021, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which that should be down to 200 and some. I can even do more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is taking forever.
Yeah, so there's 4 of the 7, and then now for whatever reason, but which, yeah, there we go. Okay.
But that was a lot faster still.
Absolutely, yeah. So now I click that. And then just the 3 show up. And it's those 3 that take the longest to
Right.
to show up on the screen.
Did it open? I don't
Yeah.
see it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought we were still waiting.
Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah,
So-
that's weird.
And those are the 3 that take the longest to show up. And I mean, I looked at it last night trying to figure out what if
It loaded, did it load all 920 something before when you had the longer list?
eventually, yes.
Okay.
So and then the export loaded 921 records as well, but just the same 3 columns. So this was so this is the right data here. It's got all 912 or 911 plus the header. So all of the data is, all of the records are there, just only 3 of the 7 fields for whatever reason.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I think I would maybe try to build it again and just see if there's like, if you build it from scratch, if it works. But yeah,
Okay.
but I honestly think the better solution is going to be to just send the data into Google Sheets and then pull the Google Sheet link into your admin portal or wherever the
Right.
users will be.
Right.
So they so that you don't have to export it all at once. It'll just be created as things are happening in your database.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I look forward to hearing if you have some tips.
Me
or
too.
tricks
I'm
on that.
excited. Yeah, I'm excited to learn how to do that because I know I have a developer who's done it for an app recently, and he's going to show me how a little later today. So
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Tonya.
yeah, no problem.
All right.
Awesome. Adam, you came in. It's your turn.
Hi, I just came in because of the conversation we had last night, and I was just I think we were talking about doing the crappie video situation, right?
Oh, got it. Yeah, so we can play around with that and see. I haven't had a chance to talk to the dev though, so it might be better after I talk to Juan about it. So would that be okay?
Yeah, I thought you mentioned someone was going to be on that like could help with that, and also box. We were talking about box storage versus bubble.
Right. Yeah. So it doesn't look like Jordan has decided to join us today. And then, but the box.com stuff is pretty simple, but I think Pablo is going to be here in about 20 minutes. So he might be able to help more with that.
Okay, cool.
I'd love to see that
I
box
do
stuff
have
as
a
well.
flight. I'm literally getting on a
Are you
flight very soon. So
You're leaving, Callum?
No, I was saying I'd love to see that box stuff as well.
Oh, the box.com stuff? Yeah,
Yeah.
so the box.com stuff is I was having a little bit of a tough time getting it integrated when I was trying it out, but Jordan was able to knock it out of the park. He got it figured out, and then I'm sure any of the other 3 Pro NoCoders founders could help with that. Let me just message some people real quick and see if they can come on.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I think Brittany had to drop off. She was having some connection problems. So, Thomas, you still don't have anything? Nope. Ben, how about you?
Sure. So back to our old friend known as Airtable backend workflows.
Yes, I love backend workflows.
Like I really, with the like redeveloping, I really want to get to know them more. So what we did last time was develop on a button click. It brought in Airtable information and dumped it into the bubble database. But is there a way to do that maybe like twice a day instead of on a click?
Yes.
Okay.
So you want, yeah, so you might have to click one time and then you can like delete the button and it'll go on forever. It's called a recursive workflow.
Right.
And if you want it twice a day, do you want it 12 hours apart or do you want it like a certain?
Probably like, is there a way to do it as times as opposed to hours?
Yes. Yeah, no, I mean, almost anything is possible. So you want to send it out at like a particular times? What times did you want to send it out?
10 a.m., midday, 5 p.m. sort of thing.
So 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Yep. So I'm thinking if you can do that in the same recursive workflow or not.
If not, 12 hours apart's fine, whatever is easiest.
Yeah, we can do it in the same one. So just go ahead and create the new API workflow.
Actually.
So Jordan's not able to make it today, Adam, but he said next time. And if you're not here, I'll just record it and make sure that you get a copy of it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then I'll check with Juan as well about the crappie extended stuff.
Perfect.
Okay, so your API workflow name, we can name it whatever makes sense. I think you have to have like an underscore. And I probably put it in all lowercase. I don't think. Yeah, like that. Perfect. And then what exactly is going to happen on the workflow? Is you're going to
Essentially,
be,
it's just going to bring this content into Bubble, as opposed to just using it as Airtable as a data source. It's actually going to bring the information in. I did manage to set it up through Zapier, but I remember last time you said this was possible and potentially a lot cheaper.
yes, it is a lot less expensive just to use the Bubbles Airtable plugin. Do you have that set up or no?
Yep,
Yep.
that's ready to go.
Okay, and so then you want to, and did you follow the last time, I think, with the video that I sent you, I showed you how you're going to make sure, like you're going to add the Bubble unique ID to the record in Airtable, and then only pull in the records that don't have unique IDs for Bubble. Is that right?
Gotcha. I might go back and watch that video before we do this.
Okay, got it. Okay, so
Okay.
I don't think you need to send in any parameters. So go ahead and add a new parameter. And we'll say a date of type date. And then we're going to go into the actions of the workflow and click. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, in the actions, and then schedule that same workflow again in custom events.
Schedule work, API
Yep.
workflow.
Yep. And then what you're going to do is trying to remember how we set it up. Was that was in October's, right? And I did
Yeah.
it in the October sandbox. Let me open up the October sandbox.
And then you sent me a Loom video on it, because remember we couldn't do it.
Yep. That strange, like, paralysis that happens when you're on office hours and you can't think. Took me less than 30 minutes to figure it out on my own, but. And then did I do that in the back end, or did I just do that in the front end? Can't remember. From Airtable, I did it in the back end. Create a new office hour. Airtable, modify a record, and then schedule it to happen again. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to accomplish this, I think, with two different backend workflows, one to initiate the other. So this is the one that I created to take things from Airtable. So for those of you who missed that episode, I was using this Airtable plugin, and I just connected my Airtable through this. So this is a dummy key. This app is already expired, basically. So it won't work right now even if I tried it. But I just have the office hours base and table connected, and I initialized it so that I would have access to all of the different fields. Then in the backend workflows, I created a workflow called from Airtable, and its whole purpose is to go create a new thing in my Bubble database, but using the Airtable record, right? And so what I was doing is I was, in here, I was just referencing Airtable office hours first item. So here I put the constraint where the Bubble unique ID is empty in the Airtable. So I'm only going to pull in things that I haven't pulled in before. And so I would take the name, the notes, and the ID from Airtable. Then I would modify the record in Airtable and send the bubble unique ID into this BUID field. That way I wouldn't pull it in again the next time I run the workflow. And then I would schedule it to happen again over and over, as long as that same search is greater than 0. And so that was what was working this recursive workflow to pull all of the changed data in, or all of the new data in. So this is essentially the way that you would set up the second workflow, Ben, in your backend. The first one that we're going to do is create a workflow here, like a second workflow. So I'll just go ahead and make a new one called to schedule from Airtable or initiate. You could call it whatever you want, but basically the whole point of this one is to, given the date and time that you want this one to run, you're going to initiate it, right? So I'm going to send in a date of type date, and then what we'll do here is schedule the from Airtable. Yeah, current date and time. And then we're going to run this one again. And we're going to run it current date and time. So you said 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. So
Yeah,
that's a 7 hours. So current date and time plus 7 hours. Oh, maybe we don't need the date, because we don't need to do it. We'll just do current date and time plus 7 hours only when current date and time extract hours is less than 17, because 1700 is 5 o'clock and Bubble works on a 24-hour clock. So only, yep. So if it's before 5 o'clock, then we're going to add 7 hours to it, because this will be running at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
And then we'll just copy and paste this one. And we'll say if it's greater than 10, then 5 to 5 is 12 plus 5 is 17. So we would put this as 17 hours for the 5 p.m. one.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you just need to initiate this one time. I thought I saw some sort of like hacky magic happen where you could like initiate something back from the logs. I don't know how to do that. I should probably learn, because it looked pretty cool. But I just add a new page, like a temporary page, put a button on it. So I call temp page. I do this kind of stuff all the time, and it makes me happy, because it's like, let's make magic happen. You just have to schedule that API workflow the first time, right? So schedule API workflow. We're going to schedule the initiate, and the schedule date and time will be like, I would say probably I would just do an arbitrary date. I'd say like today at 5 p.m. and it knows what that is, right?
Mhm.
And then, yeah, that's all I have to do is go click that button. So if I preview this,
So weird that you have to do that though. But
that you have to do this step. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I think I saw somebody like initiate it from like the logs or something. Like I think I saw something like that. I could be totally wrong. I saw some sort of like magic happen, but yeah, I don't know how to do that magic yet. So I click that button and then I can go to my logs and I can go to my scheduler and I can see that today at 5 p.m. this backend workflow is going to run. And if I go to my backend workflow, the initiate from Airtable is going to schedule this from Airtable to run at the same time.
Yep.
So it'll immediately go and run here. And then schedule API workflow initiate from Airtable if it's 5 p.m. So if it's before 5 p.m. So if it's 10 a.m. running, it will schedule it to run in 7 hours, which would be 5 p.m. And then this would be running it at 10 a.m. the next day.
Gotcha.
We probably could be more precise with the scheduling. So like from here,
Is it easier to do it, say, like every hour, or
yeah, you could do that.
is that an easier setup than that?
Yeah, you just wouldn't need this all. You wouldn't need the second one because you would just do, it would just be current. You could just do it every 7 hours and just take this constraint off.
And that would do it every 7 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Gotcha. And then if you wanted to change that to every hour, you just change that to a 1.
Yep. And this is what I call like the knowledge advantage, because essentially you've created your own recurring workflow, recurring event, right? Because you're just scheduling it to happen again. And you're scheduling it to happen every hour, which if you're trying to do that as a recurring event, Bubble would charge you extra.
Ah, cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see here, Jay.
Have you done anything with Google programmable search?
Nope.
How about Google service accounts?
Also no.
What's that?
Also no.
Okay. I'm trying to set up Google programmable search as a stand-in for Mealy search or any other search. And I'm absolutely mystified by the number of keys and codes they've provided, none of which seem to be the ones I need.
Okay. Yep, but that sounds like a great question for after hours, which is going to start in about 11 minutes. And I think both Pablo and Justin might be joining us.
That
so.
is perfect because I like to be able to show. So if there's no one else waiting, I do have something that is probably of more general interest.
Anybody else waiting?
I do have one question, if that's all right.
Go for it, Callum. And we'll come to you
so-
right after Nathan.
So I've got it set up so I'm capturing the user's age. I've got a plugin that basically converts so the date of birth that they've put in, and then you basically plug that into this plugin, and it spits out their age. And what I've got it doing is every time the page is loaded, it updates her age, which is great and it works. Only problem is obviously if you don't log in or go onto the page, then say you don't log in for 366 days, your age is going to be out of date and it doesn't update. Is there a way to calculate age? So I was thinking about doing a backend workflow that runs at midnight every night and updates the person's age, but I know you can't access elements on the page, and the plugin is an element on the page. So is there a better way? I have their date of birth. I have, I guess, their age from when they sign up.
Can you show
because
us?
it'll. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, like so the plugin is not attached to the database.
Someone sharing a screen.
You can kick me off. You must
Oh,
have
can
missed
I?
it. Yeah, you must have. I enabled users to kick other users off from sharing screens. So
Oh, well, that was very fun. Okay.
yeah, exactly. We all have fun kicking each other off.
Yes, I've got here. So it's basically just a plugin that you got here. Date of birth is the current user's date of birth, formatted as that. And then we're looking for the age as of the date of current date and time, formatted as that. So that all works. And then we basically run the workflow, which is.
I don't understand why you're worried, because that's all dynamic data. So it's going to be figuring it out dynamically all the time.
Okay, so I've then, yeah, so when page is loaded, make change to user. And then basically the change is the age is equal to current user's age calc, which is the plugin in years.
Okay.
So that works. But if someone doesn't log in, so if someone doesn't log in on their birthday or after their birthday, what I'm going to end up, so say I have 100 people who use the app, and then I only have 90 of them who are active. I then have 10 people who are inactive on the app, and it won't update their birthday until they basically use the app again. So I might have a load of people on there who say they're 30, but actually are now 31 because they haven't looked in again.
Yeah, so in the element that's showing their years, their age, I wouldn't actually store the age as a static thing in your database. I would just use their date of birth and calculate their age in real time on the page.
Oh yeah, because I don't actually their one, do I? So I could just, so even when I'm looking at someone else's profile and their profile, oh, that's gonna make it more complex, but okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense then, because I can use the element I can put another element on the page, which is to calculate another user's one, because at the moment that's calculating the current user's age. I can just put another element on the page that calculates someone else's.
I mean, you could just do it in the same text element, right?
Okay, all right, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just current date and time minus users, whichever users date of birth, and then format that in years.
Say that again?
So it's just, here, I'll show you. It's just really simple. So you're storing their date of birth on the user, right?
Yep.
So if I go here and I say,
yeah, but I do need to store the user's age as an actual number. So when we're doing dating stuff and things like that, I need to be able to put conditions on things to say you can't click on this if you are underage, and you can't show up in the Tinder file thing if you are under the age of 18.
yeah, but you can calculate that as needed, right? You don't have to do that every night for everybody. Just that only matters when the user is trying to do something on the app, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Because
yeah,
I mean,
okay,
like, you know, with 1 billion users that the circle is going to have in 2 years' time, 500 million each year, right? Like, you're not going to want to run workflows on all of those every day, and it wouldn't be necessary to run the workflow every day. You only need to run it when you're trying to determine whether or not the person is old enough to do what you want to do.
I think that makes sense. I'll give it a go and see where it comes to.
Okay. Yeah, and it also makes sense from the perspective of other users who are like searching for people within the right age range. You just do it dynamically, right? So you would say make sure that the age of the users that are going to show up in this repeating group is greater than, or sorry, like that their date of birth is less than current date and time minus 18 years, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, that's a lot easier than I thought it'd be. Cool.
Okay, awesome. Nathan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in order to make some of those longer fields visible in the repeating group, I had the box checked to cut off, and it was those 4 columns that I had cut off, the longer fields that weren't getting downloaded. So as soon as I uncheck the box,
Oh, good.
everything does come down. So it's almost like so far you can't have a pretty on-screen view and get all of the data to download. So
Right.
but now I know. So that's what happened. I still have issues. It still takes way too long with 900 records, but
You could put that repeating group, the ugly one, in a hidden, like a hidden group, and then have the button work on the hidden group
oh, sure.
instead.
Yeah, duplicate it. Yeah, wouldn't have to pull it twice. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
and don't worry about like the page load on that, because it would be the same search. So it
Right.
wouldn't, Bubble's not going to search for it twice.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So at least I know how the plugin works now. Still not the great answer for 900 records, but I figured that
Or
out.
more,
So,
because we always want more, right?
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I appreciate your help getting through that, and I look forward to the other option.
Okay, awesome.
All right, thanks.
Jay?
Give me a second to get the right screen back. Okay. Okay, so this is a database trigger. When I get my spreadsheets from my web scraping, they come with the link to the image, but not the actual image. So what I've been doing is uploading the image, and then built this trigger that when the plant image processing is the name of it, data type, when before change, the vendor image is empty, then make the change to the vendor image link. So I tested it and it worked, but I haven't tested it like in the real world, just, my back end. So I'm trying to do the same thing with another flow, and it's not working, and I'm confused about why it wouldn't work. So here's the flow. I ended up doing it with a button. Why did I do that? It didn't work with the button either. What happened? Oh, it's all screwed up. There it is. And this wasn't working. What I wanted to do was click a button and have it just go through the whole database and do all the changes at once.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So you want to do a recursive workflow?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So recursive workflows have to take place in the back end. Yep. New API workflow. And then what do you need to know in order to run the workflow?
That the name text field is empty, and that the name of the plant is not empty.
Okay. So you're going to send in, you're going to send in a search. So you're going to send in a list. So a list of what's the data type?
It's called vendor pricing.
So just click add a new parameter, and then the key would be the name of the data type. And then the type would be the data type.
Does the spelling of this have to totally match, or does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter. And then check that it's a list.
Okay.
Okay, and then click to add an action. And you're going to be modifying the vendor price, right? To make changes to a thing.
Yes.
And the thing you're going to want to change is going to be the vendor pricing first item.
Is it this one or this one?
Well, what is it like? How are you going to know what to name it?
There's already it's a field in there, but the field is connected to another data type. So it's got to go through another one.
Okay, so yeah, so this vendor pricing, and then however, like the path is to get that name. There you go. And then only when is going to be vendor pricing count is greater than 0. Yep. And then go ahead and click to add an action. And schedule that API workflow to run again. No, yeah.
Or on a list.
Nope, schedule API workflow.
So that's going to do one at a time, like just kind of keep looping through it.
Yep.
Awesome.
And then it'll be change name. And I think you might have to put an underscore instead of a space there. I don't know why Bubble lets you do that because it throws an issue, but it doesn't stop you from doing it, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Okay, so scheduled date would be current date and time, and then probably plus 1 second or something like that would be fine. And then vendor pricing minus item. And then vendor pricing first item. So you're gonna, and now and now now you get it. And now it only when vendor pricing count is greater than 0.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, that is really helpful because the next time I'm on with you guys, I'm probably going to ask about doing the same thing in the other app.
Got
to
it.
schedule sending text. So now I understand. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So right now it's probably doing its thing as we speak.
If you go and click that, you have to create the button that you're going to click and schedule that to run.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, we're going to wrap up office hours and move into our members only after hours. If you are watching live, thank you so much for being here. Please remember to go ahead and like this live stream or the video that you happen to be watching. Subscribe for more, and do go sign up at pronocoders.com and come in and meet all of us because we can't wait to meet you and help you with your Bubble issues. Thank you to all of our members for being here and Kim as well. And yeah, we'll see you next time.